Hey guys, Periodic Insanity here with a unboxing and review of the PNY GTX 1060 6GB version. I saw that this card didn't have a whole lot of review or pictures or video of it, and I don't even know what the heck the heatsink looks like underneath besides what just some stock photos have looked like trying to look through the shroud of the fans and stuff. So I wanted to do a review of this card and compare it against my GTX 970 from Asus, the Strix version, and I wanted to see if it was kind of worth a little bit of the price bump you're going to get going from the 970 nowadays, probably used, to the GTX 1060. And I also just wanted to see what performance was like on this particular card. This PNY card is normally one of the cheaper cards you can find. It doesn't have a backplate. I think it's probably the most cost-effective one to get because it's standard at MSRP $250. So let's get to unboxing it and see what's inside the box, and then we'll compare it to my 970 using my personal computer, and then we'll take the heat shroud off and we'll check out what the heatsink looks like. Okay guys, let's take a look inside the box. I have a packing list. I've got something that Newegg usually sends out, I think, some kind of food ordering thing. And graphics card box. So nothing extra sent with the graphics card. You can see it's the 6GB edition here. You can see the card through here, which is pretty cool. Now I can see this heatsink a lot better in person looking through there. Something's jiggling around, but it ain't the graphics card, thankfully, so let's get to cutting this open. Okay, and there's no additional tape other than the plastic that was keeping the box open, it looks like. And nothing in between the card and the edge of this. Surprisingly, it's a little bit less packing than I would have liked. I would have liked a cushion piece on top of these fans in case they get hit through this box. But I'm not going to complain if it works well. Got a nice piece of foam padding here. Some good foam here. So the foam inside this box is not exactly a problem. Looks like it gets caught on the graphics card there. And that's it. Wow, there's no frills. Not really anything else in the box besides the card. Let's see if maybe there's something underneath. Ah, there we go. Okay. Had a lovely driver CD, you know what we do with those. A 4-pin to PCIe connector, which if you need this nowadays, you probably have a really old power supply, but it's there, that's good to know. And a PNY guide that looks like it's been a little roughed up inside the box, to be honest with you. I guess installing drivers and stuff. Probably don't need that either. That's it. Box is empty. Alright guys, so we got the card all by itself now. I can see a decent amount of the heatsink in here. I can tell that it's held on by a nice decently sized metal plate. Again, there's no back plate, but I like the black PCB, and at least it won't really conflict with any builds. And besides the gold on the PNY on the fans, everything else is black or clear, like the fans are clear, the blades are clear. It's got kind of a cool modern look to it. Let's see, this back end sticks out a little bit past the PCB, probably to increase airflow a bit. On this side here, we got the PCI Express. Just a 6-pin connector needed for the GTX 1060, which is most of them only need a 6-pin. Some will come with an 8-pin. Looking at the back here, we've got the DVI, looks like HDMI, and 3 display ports. Overall, weighted, the card is pretty light. We can see some warranty void stickers here, which it looks like they'll be easy to peel off and put back on anyways, but when I take this heatsink off, I'm gonna have to take those off. Yeah, it's a pretty nice looking card, guys. The fact that it doesn't come with much else in the package is not a bad thing to me. It keeps costs down. So we'll see how it performs. It's got 2 decent sized fans and a good sized heatsink on it, looks like. So, alright guys, so this is the PNY GTX 1060, and I'm going to be taking this heatsink off so that we can see exactly what kind of thermal performance it's going to have. And then I'll compare it to my Asus 970 Strix, and we'll look at heat pipe size and everything like that. So first thing I'm going to do is they really don't want you to remove these screws, but now, so I'm going to get to work unscrewing all of these. And the fan shroud is off. Now it's time to get the fan connector out. There we go. And we'll go to work on this heatsink. Mostly because I want to see what is contacting the VRMs and memory, if anything. And then we'll see what kind of thermal pasting job they did on this thing. Here is the heatsink without the shroud on. You can see it's got small heat pipes. They look like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 millimeter heat pipes. I'm hoping that they're direct contact, because that would be good for this cooler. They're a little tiny, but it's only a 120 watt TDP card. There we go. Okay, oh, I got thermal pads for the memory. Ooh, some thick ones. Okay, and I've got a thermal pad for the VRMs here, which is encouraging. Now this, I absolutely hate this patch of stuff. That's what every company does. You can see the GPU die. It's just way smaller. You don't need that much material. Alright guys, so I showed you how I took it apart, and we should have some of the heatsink photos and video up on your screen now. What you want to know is that there is no direct contact heat pipe, and compare this to the Asus Strix that I'm going to show you, the GTX 970 Strix. That has direct contact and also bigger heat pipes, and it also has an all metal shroud for its fans, which on this PNY here you can see it's all plastic, and the fans aren't as high quality as the Strix either, but overall, you know, the cooler kind of gets a pass because it's only a 120 watt TDP card. It's not great, but it's passable for that amount. The PCB itself looked like it didn't have much in the way of VRMs, but it did have some thermal pads on the memory and the VRMs, which is nice that it connects to the entire heatsink and all the heat is dissipated. I think what I'd recommend with this card because of that is that you just run the fans continuously at a low speed so that it's cooling all those components. I know you guys probably, a lot of you like the absolute silence of 0 dB, 0 fan, but that allows you to get a little extra air moving on the heatsink, which will help cool the memory and keep the VRM cool as well. So probably set up a custom fan curve in MSI Afterburner for that. What this card did in terms of performance versus the 970 Strix, it's a little bit better. I want to say maybe up to 10% better if you compared it in 1440p so far. I only have 1080p to go by, and it's maybe 5 or up to 10% faster depending on situation and load. There's not really many situations in 1080p where the 970's memory is maxed out, and I've also achieved a decent overclock on my 970, but this card also boosts very well. I've seen boosts almost up to 1900 megahertz, which is pretty dang good without messing with anything. And I ran Firmark, actually the MSI combustor version of it, but I ran that for 10 minutes and the highest temperature I saw was 73. Now the fans did get up to 60%, which was kind of audible. It's not something that's going to really upset you, but something to note down. Although during normal load and gaming conditions, that should not be a problem. It mostly stayed around 50% for me, which is essentially inaudible over my case fans. Once it gets up to 60, and I'm sure higher, I haven't even listened to it at 100%. I haven't bothered to try and tweak anything in Afterburner yet. I have ran a quick Heaven benchmark, and the card did, like I said, 5 to 10% faster than my 970, so that's pretty good. I think it's probably a little bit better with the tessellation on as well. I really haven't done much else with it yet. I just got it and took it apart and wanted to take a look at the heatsink and see if I could improve temperatures at all. The idle temperatures, by the way, are kind of poor. The fan seems to just stop spinning if there's not enough load, which kind of sucks. You know, you want it to, in my mind, I want it to spin until it's back down to its idle temperature. It seems to stop as soon as the load is gone and it's under 60 degrees. So you can start seeing an idle temperature that's above 40 degrees Celsius, whereas when I start my computer up, I get the idle temperature of like 32, 33, which is just great. But if it doesn't go back down to that, then the card is constantly heated up, and it just isn't good for the lifetime of the video card. So in conclusion, I can really so far recommend that you get this PNY GTX 1060 as the cheapest 1060. It's going to require probably a little bit tweaking in Afterburner, which most of you probably know how to do anyways in terms of fan profile. I ran into a really weird glitch with my drivers, but it's not really something that I've seen a whole lot about. What would happen is under low load conditions, like watching a video, the card would all of a sudden decide that it wasn't getting enough usage and throttle itself down. It seems to have been solved for me though with a driver update, and I've also just ran Afterburner, which is weird, just running Afterburner apparently when Windows starts. Maybe it's because it knows it's watching, but yeah, the 1060 is a good card, and it's something I would recommend if you can get it. I don't know if I'd recommend it full price right now based on the market of used video cards and things you can get for around 200 that are getting real stinking close to that performance. But if you can get it on sale, 210, 220, really great buy. So that's it for the video, guys. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, you can give it a dislike, but please leave a comment and let me know why, what you want to see.
Don't dislike it!
Coming up should be the fan LED video. I'm also going to be doing a video using the 970 Strix concerning VRM thermals, and we should have another build lined up. You can see there's a case sitting right next to me, which I'm excited for. It's been a little while since I did a build. And also I will do a full review of the performance of this and overclockability of it versus my 970 as well. So we'll compare overclocks instead of just comparing stock for stock, which is pretty important with Pascal. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.